Do you have an 11 to 19 8-lug GM truck? If so, you're gonna wanna watch this video about the Rough Country 3.5-inch lift that we're installing. We've got this 2018 Silverado Z71 2500 on the lift. This is a gas truck, so it's kind of cool to see. Most of these I feel like that we see are diesel. And I want to talk a little bit about what we do typically on these trucks. Of course, there's lift systems available that vary in height, anywhere from 2-inch the whole way up to probably 12 inches of lift. What's really popular is lifts in that 2 to 3.5-inch range because they're not too expensive and you can fit a tire and still tow and use them as a nice daily driver vehicle without having something that's way high off the ground. So this truck, the front suspension, is equipped with torsion bars. I'll show them to you right here. These are the factory springs on this truck. And I know that's kind of weird because that may not look like a spring, it might just look like a straight bar, but it actually is keyed into that lower control arm. And as those arms move, those big long torsion bars twist. So what we do to get more lift out of these trucks is install a torsion bar key. And it re-indexes where the torsion bar fits in there, and it applies more twist to them to lift the truck up in the air a little bit more. Now you may ask, why install the key and not just crank those torsion bars up the whole way? Well, you've got to be really, really careful when you're doing that kind of stuff because you can really decrease ride quality and screw up your suspension. As you can see right here, this is the upper control arm, and this is a down travel limiter. See it right there? What you got to be careful of is when you crank those torsion bars, this upper control arm can sit right on this down travel limiter and virtually limit your down travel. So anytime you're hitting a bump or going over a rise, the truck acts really, really weird. Now, Rough Country has alleviated any issues with that with their kit, and I really, really like this kit. You can see there's some major differences here between the stock control arm and the new Rough Country control arm. First of all, this thing is cast and it is super, super heavy compared to the stock one. I mean, look at the differences. I do like that this control arm still has a ball joint, which is nice in the Northeast, and still has OEM factory style bushings. One thing that's cool about this control arm is it's got a big, like, hump there, if you will, to give you more clearance at that down travel limit. I also wanted to talk about these shocks. So these are an upgrade in the Rough Country kit. This is their V2 monotube shock. These things are awesome. As you can see, they're all aluminum. They've got these big billet ends. The bushings are nice, and the bar pins. I mean, these things look like a beefed up OEM quality shock as far as bushings and stuff go. So I think they're awesome. We're gonna be installing these in the front and the back. These do not come standard in the kit, but are a nice little upgrade if you're buying it. The back of the suspension of these trucks is pretty simple because it's leaf sprung. We'll go out back there and look at it in just a minute, but they just give you a real simple block and a U-bolt. Last but not least on this kit are these differential drop spacers. So they give you 4 spacers and new bolts. That allows the front differential to be lowered a little bit to make sure that these axle shafts are as flat as possible so we don't get any premature wear on those axles. Let's go out back and we'll show you what's going on there. So this is it. This big beefy leaf spring is what holds up the truck. And what we're gonna be doing is underneath there, putting that block and new bolts in. So as you can see, this thing is gonna level and lift this truck. They sell this as their 3.5 suspension, so it's gonna lift most of the truck in the front and then only about 1 inch in the back. So we just wrapped up the Silverado 2500. Of course, we topped it off with some of the best, the Nitto Ridge Grappler tires in a 295/70/18. That tire is just about 34 inches tall by 11.5 inches wide. I really like how this truck turned out. I'm sure you do too. Let us know what you think of this video in the comment section. If you liked it, give us thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're putting the coolest stuff on our stories. Thanks for watching.